today. So what happens if you swim fast on 200, but you can't sustain the pace on a longer duration? And this applies also, like, what happens if you swim, every 50 yards, you're like sprinting, and then, but you can't keep up with the 400 or longer duration, okay? So, well, what's going to happen is that there will be a big difference between your pace for the 200 and 400 pace. So what? Why do you care about that, right? So because that's what happened to Greg, like the numbers there, the pace, it was a big difference. Well, if you're swimming sprint triathlon distance, that is okay. Okay, because sprint is short.
Yeah, you're gonna be done.
You're gonna be done. But if you are aiming for Olympic distance, which is about 1,700 yards, 70.3 distance, which is 1.2 or 2,100 yards, or full Ironman, which is 2.4 miles, this is a concern. Why? Because it's gonna affect critical swim speed, which again, that's what happened here. It affected 228, big gap, right? So now let's jump into like what the CSS. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Say yes if you're not falling. If you're not falling asleep, all right. So no, this one, I promise you, it's gonna be short geeking time. All right. So here you go. It's a graph here. I'm gonna make it bigger so you guys can see. Well, what is critical swim speed or CSS? It equates to your continuous 1,500 meter pace in race-like conditions. Okay. So it's been used in sports science. You're gonna ask more about that. Ask the mathematicians. All right. It's kind of like asking, like, why do you need to take FTP test? That's basically that. For swim, it's called CSS, critical swim speed. Let me show you more about this graph because I think you'll understand it better. Okay. So I'm gonna make it bigger so you can understand. All right, this is the 200, this is the 400. The higher that is, the faster. All right. So now, if the athlete, let's just say, did a 200, the faster athlete, the sprinter, it will hit here, okay? Now, the athlete who has a good CSS data, it will hit here. He might be slower in the 200, okay? But guess what? As they go longer, that pace they meet, okay? They may have the same 400, but this athlete who's a sprinter, he or she will exponentially get slower as they go to a longer distance, which is the 1,500 meter, okay? So what I'm trying to say here, okay, is that, like those athletes who cannot sustain the pace because they are just sprinters, they're not really able to sustain the pace on 1,500, okay? Did I lose you guys there? If I lose you, go back to this one. What is it? Why is it important? Go back to this. Because that CSS is basically for 1,500 meter pace in race-like conditions. Okay, so what is the goal then? What is the goal? Your goal is, as much as possible, if you do the CSS, the critical swim speed test, you want to have this 200-yard pace to be as close as possible with the 400 yards. Yeah, yes. Easy to remember, right?
And that's not to say that you should be slowing down on your 200.
Yeah. Okay. It's not either, because that's not, we want to get faster, but how can we do this one strategically? Right? Okay. And that's the next question. That's why you guys are here, because we're going to talk more about, like, how did we do it? Because what happened here, okay? So here's another, so this is actually the master class about critical swim speed. It's actually for our athletes, but we track those CSS right here. When we put this data here, critical swim speed, they took 400 yards and 200 yards. And as you guys can see, it's not just Greg. It's a lot of athletes who are doing online. Now, going back here, all right, so like this one here, this is one of the results that Greg did on the first week. All right, so I'm gonna follow me through, okay, because it's a good news, but there's a lot more work. So what he said during the first week, he said, it was awesome. I can't remember the last time I felt this way. It was fast and smooth. So he said that. Okay, well, I check out the data. Well, yeah, because he was swimming 134 on the first week. Do you still remember this, Greg?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you were like excited because it was like first week.
Yeah.
So So everyone, so like you guys can see the data, I hope. So I'm sharing this data. This one is first week after, after he started. And you can see like, yeah, you're gonna be like so excited about this 134. Wow. All right. But then in 147. All right. And then I told him, yeah, it's good. 134. I said, yeah, it's good, but I gotta be honest. I don't sugarcoat. I gotta tell him the real deal. But, but Greg, yeah, you're a great sprinter, but your goal is, 70.3 Olympic. Good. You want to sustain that, that pace for a longer duration. As you can see right now, you're not able to sustain it. When it comes to 100, it goes down, It's still good, but this is the part where in how do you analyze whether you're doing good or what do you need to do next? Okay. So, all right. Here's what do you do to improve your pace? What gets measured gets improved. So, question is that, do we just continue to extend the distance as we go to the pool? Was that your goal before on your own? Like, just let me just go nonstop for a longer duration.
Yeah, I thought that was the fix.
So how were you doing that? You're like, let's just say 200, and then next day you do 300 or 400 and make it long. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go to the pool thinking, okay, I'm going to go do 1,000, and then I'd get going and then I'd start tiring out. And I'm thinking, well, we'll do 5 today and we'll try 1,000 tomorrow.
Move the goal. You still good?
Yeah, and I never, and then I'd get 1,000. I don't know, something went well. I ate good that day. Yeah. And but you know that it wasn't good mileage at all.
Okay. Well, I like the enthusiasm to actually, like having a target, but
Yeah.
it does make sense in terms of, what we saw on the CSS. It's
Yeah.
mainly because on a longer duration, it's hard for you to sustain that, and that affects it. And you're like, that's why I think I remember you said you were feeling winded by the time and you like have to stop.
Yeah. I couldn't go long at all.
Okay.
At all. Something was wrong. Something was wrong. And that's what I kept saying when we were interviewing. It was like, something's wrong. I just don't know what it is. I can't find it. And
especially because you're already going to the pool often.
yeah, and I've always swam. Again, like I was saying, I swam. I swam. I swim in lakes, water ski, swim back to my ski, all that, whatever, but never this. And when I faced with this, it was like something's not right. It was humbling, very humbling.
Well, what I like is that you're coachable. You're coachable, and you're like, all right, just tell me what to do.
And it sounds like he also tried a lot of things. So he tried putting in the work. He tried looking at YouTube and following whatever they did.
And
there.
actually, he was pretty good at that. He mastered almost all the YouTube videos
over and over. And then I found, and then that darn the pull buoy. Once I found that, I mean, you can swim with the pull buoy. You're ripping up and down. Yeah. But the triathlon, they're not going to let me bring that out there. So.
Who has discovered the pull buoy and is stuck on it now?
That's why I was sinking hips. Sinking hips,
sinking legs, all of that.
Or like just, oh, well, I'm gonna wear a wetsuit anyways. It's okay to kind of mask it for now. I'll take like many years. I just need to finish that race. But what if you can actually do what Greg did, that he actually get over those and then maintain the pace on a longer duration? So I'm going to show it to you.
Yes, the pull buoy. I mean, it's
not just the pull buoy. The buoyant pants, lava pants, roca pants.
Tricky one, because we've seen athletes who have used it for so long, they've lost all confidence in themselves of doing it without. Like, I can't even sign up for a particular race because it's going to be no wetsuit. And I'm like, I can't. It's too much anxiety. I have panic. All of that's going to come up. So.
It's actually me. Oh, you're talking about me back then. But yeah, absolutely. I was like trying to pick which race. I need a wetsuit. I needed a wetsuit back then. All right, so here you go. You got to take a screenshot of this. Don't miss this one out. All right. How did we do it? This is what we did. And I'm going to show you more behind the scenes. The main portion, of course. So we did the technique, speed, pacing, which is important for Greg, pacing. And I told him about that. Endurance, that's something also, you know, we want it, but guess what? What we did is this, and the endurance and this part here, we still have to do this one, but we did some in the pool. But basically, you know, by focusing on this one, the endurance just, yeah, just improve.
Yeah.
And so, and before we go to the improvement, this is actually one of the his videos, the first video. And on this video, you know, so it was December 15, and you can see, I'm gonna just show it very quickly. Isn't he looks good? When I saw, like, yeah, he's like looking calm, looking smooth, you know, like have to glide, right? But there's more to that, because he cannot sustain the pace, right? So something's going on there. So it's basically just that kind of video. And then these are the feedback. All right. So visuals, timing as well. What's happening there? What did you think about this, Greg? Like, I think there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about the feedback?
I it was two things on that. One, I was happy to get feedback because I knew that we were going to head there, but then the feedback just felt like a blow in the face, because I knew that some of that feedback I should have known and I didn't. And I like the crossover. I knew not to do that, but then I was doing it. I'm like, what are you doing? So some of the feedback kind of, it hit hard. It hit hard. It really did, because I thought it was better than that, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the component of like knowing what to do and not being sure about it, but then there's also of how do I fix it, even if I know that that's my fault. How do
I couldn't fix it. Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah.
Because and also, I mean, you're not the only one. When I was new with swimming, like, I thought I was doing it, but then my coach back then, I'm like, no, here you go.
Yeah.
You're not doing it. And then I'm like, all right, how do we do it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So 'cause for you, you know those. You know that term crossover already, and you saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the beginning, I was like, I knew something was wrong. And then, Vanetta asked a question. I was like, I know my feet are sinking. I don't kick that much. And you were like, well, you got to kick. I'm like, okay, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was the crossover, and there was a couple other things in there
timing on breathing, and then the catch at the front. It's actually domino effect if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, several there, the alignment. But then what our goal, and this one is for everyone, you may see so many things, but our goal, especially because I want Greg to be feeling a winner. And I want him to, like, hey, if I can do this within a short amount of period, what else can I do? And this is something that I've been dealing with in a long time. I want that. So, like, what I do when I look at the videos, I look at the main thing. That, because some of the others are a cause of that main thing.
What's the iceberg?
Yes. So you might be seeing the iceberg, trying to fix everything, and unfortunately getting overwhelmed with online. But what if I show you the main thing that would actually, there's a high potential that you're going to solve the others, because it's a body, like in the water. Everything affects one move, like, it affects already. All right. Yeah. There's the sinking legs. Okay. Yeah. So that actually affects it. So now, so the feedback, I think that's the main thing that actually make a big difference that you were not getting before.
Yeah, it was, you had, excuse me, you had pointed out a couple of things real quick. And one was the timing with the breathing, but the crossover, I thought when I was crossing over, I'd bring it back, but I was crossing over and everything was getting whacked out. Yeah. But it was after, when I got back in the water, I got my arm in the water, you noticed that I was pushing the water down. Mm-hmm. And I really believe once we found that brought my hips back up. Mm-hmm. Once I stopped pushing the water down, instead of, the catch, like the ball. It was, and both arms were doing that.
Yeah.
And I was, and that once we you cured that with me, man, things changed. We started getting there.
Yeah. And that is the domino effect, you know,
Yeah.
that the cause of that. Basically what I did is I corrected that pressing the water downward. Okay. And everyone, because like if you want to move forward, you don't press the water downward, you press the water backwards. It's the opposite direction. That's Newton's law. I remember that in high school. All right. So like if you want to go forward, you press the water backward. But he was pressing the water downward. And guess what? When that happens, the body gets out of balance. Now, the legs go down and try to get out of balance. You'll see some scissor kick, you know, and just like trying to get back to balance.
Yeah.
So the legs part is more of the cause of what's happening at the front. All right. When that gets fixed, and here goes Greg is like it's like a kid.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was, you know, that was December 15. This one is December 30. And he's already saying, focus on the drills this morning, loving the change in my swim stroke. Only 2 weeks. And another week. Now he's seeing the swim endurance. And guess what? Okay, so this one is the total. Okay, but the 800 there. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you because I have, so again, it goes back to what I point out here. You want to get faster? Well, measure, check out the data, right? You don't just get faster just because you go to the pool. All right, you kind of change something. You want to verify what you're changing makes sense. If you want to get faster, it's not about looking good either. And maybe the video is good, but what we do with Vice to Fox coaching, yeah, I look at the video, but then at the same time, I verify what we doing. Is it really affecting what, you know, like, are we getting what Greg wants? Get faster. And I look at the details, the data, because I don't have engineering projects anymore. I was an engineer for 15 years. This is what I geek out on, paces, making sure that our athletes get the results fast. So here you go. First week, you know, this is what I showed earlier. All this one's paces, intervals. Okay, January 3rd, this one is about after 2 weeks. All right, so as you can see, he's gaining more. All right, 3 weeks, progress 3 weeks. This one is after 3 weeks. Here you go. Both 400 got sub 2 minutes per 100 yards. He already improved after 3 weeks. I was watching you, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so like I was watching, I was happy. Like we were on the right track. I continue to watch you customize your workouts in a way that I can really test you. And the other thing, athletes, is that, you know, when I say here speed, it's basically pacing. Okay. So I'm showing to you here big, longer intervals now. That's when he said, I'm improving my endurance. Swim endurance has improved. That was January 7th. And that is because that's what he's doing. He's doing 700 and his pace is good. 2 minutes. Continue to push. So now here's a quiz for you. Everyone, I just want to make sure you guys are awake. All right, you guys are there. So who here is a runner? You like running more or cycling? All right, when you're running, you got a full marathon. You have a Garmin right in front of you. Okay, so let's just say, okay, I'm gonna pace 10 minutes per mile. Okay, on a full marathon. But then at the start, you're so excited, you start running like 8 minutes per mile. Wow, what am I doing? It's only half a mile. You got 26 miles, right? Then what do you do? You pace yourself. Let's back off. Now let's take that to swimming. So Greg here wants to go back to Olympic distance, wants to get his 70.3, eventually full Ironman. But one of the things that we do know is that he did not know how to pace. All right.
You're at the swim start. Everybody's around you. You're surrounded by all the people.
Yeah.
You're high heart rate. You're excited.
Yeah. And that could be what happened to Greg as well during his first sprint or race that he did before. And guess what's going to happen? Hyperventilated, panic. We don't want that. So now how can we prepare yourself to actually, when you go to the triathlon, whatever distance it is that it's not just about distance. If you're relying to like, oh, I have a sprint, I'm going to finish 400 yards and I'll be good. Or I have 2.4 miles. I'm just going to complete the distance and I'll be good. Then you're only doing one portion of the training. That's it. You might be able to finish the distance, but then the question is that how will you finish it? That's how Greg was. Okay. Like he's kind of finishing, right? And then the next thing also on, he cannot go longer than 500 yards before. Okay. So what we did is that we teach him how to pace himself without losing the speed, And then we can talk more in details, like if you want to know more, but basically we use the tempo trainer and, I think this is fourth week around there, third week. With tempo trainer, longest. So I was measuring with and without the pacing. You like looking at your numbers?
Yeah, you. Yeah, haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so I was watching you, like an eagle. I was watching every little thing you do, every feedback that you give, and actually, it's important, especially if you are in a program or if you have a goal, like you want to get feedback and actually know how you're doing. You don't want to be like, oh, I finished a 16-week program, but what did I get? I don't know. Well, yeah, I feel good. I feel stronger. It would be much nicer to actually get the numbers because here you go. I'm going to show to you how, because communicating to the athlete, I mean, you can do it yourself if you're like me, like, oh, let me just do it. But then it's kind of like, it's too much time. You want to focus on doing the work. Because like for me, for example, I have my coach, I do analyze still, but I don't want to do all the planning and stuff. I just want to do the workout. Okay. Because I still have family, the work, coaching. So here you go. Here's an example. All right. So he said here, kind of bummed that my boot camp is about to be over. He was sad. All right. So like, here you go. So, but I continue to give feedback because I want him, hey, yes, sure, it's about to be done, but we still have time. If you improve in 1 week, how much more we can improve with a few days. So I continue to give feedback. Hey, look at you. You've increased your stamina endurance. So I said, 105, look at your pace. 400 yards, 156. 510, that was only like 5 days later. You did 500 yards and you still maintain the pace. So how was it for you when you're like, oh, like whenever I give you those numbers on the feedback, Greg, how did it feel? Like you're sad, but then you saw this one. how do you feel about that? Like getting those data feedback about your paces.
It felt so good. It just made everything right. It made all the decision making right. And it was like, okay, I know this is finishing up and I ain't done yet. Let's keep going.
We're just starting.
We're just getting going here. You got to get me to the finish line fast.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone, you guys are learning a lot from this one. We cover a lot. We cover CSS. We covered the technique, making sure like, yeah, it's good to know technique, but you gotta make sure that you're actually executing it correctly. All right. Looking at your data.
I didn't think it can be done. I didn't think I didn't think it was going to happen for me. I knew my age was getting up there, and I knew that people say you slow down, and I'm like, well, I don't know. We're gonna try.
You didn't believe because I mean, you mentioned about age, but like, what is your age?
I'm 60. Yeah.
I really thought you were like late 50s. So you're already 60?
Yeah, I am.
Yep. You just turned 60 last year or this year? Last year, of course.
July 23. Yeah.
Okay. You're still 59 then. Okay, you're turning 60.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, you're 60, whatever your number is. Wow.
Yeah, it's still doable. So I was kind of happy to see that.
I am happy too. And one of the things that you probably guys you have not seen is I'm gonna just show.
Bob called you a young pup.
Yeah, boy, Bob. Thanks, buddy.
I'm glad, Bob, you're here because you guys have the same issue. So, Greg, one of the things that they don't know is I did not know when we were starting. I was trying to demonstrate something for you, but then when you try to like show your hands, your fingers, do you mind showing?
Yeah, I'm gifted.
Gifted.
I was in the Air Force and got in an accident and lost a couple of digits. There, but you know, it's again, like you say, everything is technique, and those digits don't really stop me. So
yeah, I love it. I mean, you didn't even have to worry about like all this, like, okay, do we do this or do we do this? No, I don't have to do that. I just have two fingers.
We don't do anything. Yeah, but you know, it's like like you say, the whole arm is your paddle, so if you can get that in there and go, then do it. Yeah.
I like that you didn't have that be a reason for you to not pursue swimming, or count yourself out for being a good swimmer because of that.
Yeah.
Greg says that his age, or he's 60, but well, I do think his mindset is very good, and he's actually like a kid. I like him because when I ask him, hey Greg, can you swim this? And he's like, sure. Like, it's weekend, sure, all right. Because he was already done with the program, and I basically just challenged him. He was done with the program, but he's like, we got nothing to do. All right, I said, like, tomorrow, can you swim 2100? An athlete who started just December 15 cannot even finish 500 yards. I asked him, can you do 2100 tomorrow? I need you to pace yourself. I need you to pace yourself with this tempo trainer.
Yeah.
What I like is that, okay, if you say that it's good, I'm ready. I said, like, yeah, you're ready. And you'll do. I was excited because I know it's going to get done. And so this one is actually what he did. Because he told us he wants 70.3 and eventually full Ironman. So he did this one. Yeah, so 2100 204 nonstop.
Total time to 44 minutes.
Yeah, no injuries. So he did it January 19, and as you guys remember, he did start December 15, so a month. Okay, so not only that he got faster, maintained his pace, okay, he got longer and even beat, like his pace is 204.
Nice.
Amazing. Is there anything else that you think is something that helped you, Greg, during the coaching or training? I like the paddle part that you said, like, think about your hands as a paddle, your arm as a paddle.
Yeah, the paddle and the arm, that was a big deal. And the way, you kind of simulate with a ball in your arm. Drills. Oh my God. The drills. I was not a drill person. I was like, no, that fins. Why fins? You can't use them. Why do it? And to know now what I didn't know then is like, wow, drills are insane.
Yeah.
I like to just go on the pool on a day off now and just to run a few drills, just to, try to get better at those.
Yeah.
There's a couple of drills I'm terrible at.
Something to still work on.
They need more. This 616 thing and different things I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm
still
sure.
Progress.
I like what you said, because drills become interesting when you understand the importance of them and like what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you're just doing it, like not knowing what's happening, why are you doing it?
What to focus on.
It's like a waste of time. It's like frustrating.
Yeah, you're cheating yourself if you don't do that.
Yeah. Because I'm sure you've seen technique drills online, YouTube.
A lot of them, yep.
Yeah. And like when you see it, it's like, all right, I see it there, but how can you do it? And you try to do it and you're like sinking. Why waste time? Because it's hard to do. They make it look easy.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
So when you start doing it, it is hard. And a lot of
talking about not getting across 25 yards. I mean, you just can't. It's hard. That kicking out, it's tough. And then, but you know, if you video it and you get to critique it,
Yeah.
it worked. It worked. I like the drills worked.
Yeah.
And I didn't think they would.
I didn't think
That's why I was stuck for 3 years.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you, because I saw drills on, you know, on my plan before. I'm like, what is this one? And I was resourceful, and I was like, okay, let me go YouTube. And then I have my fins. Once I go to the pool, it's like, shit, this is waste of time. Excuse my words. This is a waste of time. I'm like sinking in the middle of the lane, and I felt embarrassed. Like, screw
Yep.
this. I'm gonna go back swimming laps.
And me too. Me too.
High five.